Hello friends, Dennis Gebhardt with Guru Villages. I wanted to preface this video you're about to see by giving you a little bit of an idea about what is going to transpire. This video is 45 minutes long, so it's quite lengthy, but I think it's meaningful. As we've been searching through our files over the last year of Periscope broadcasts that we've done, we found some that we thought were worthwhile reposting. And so I invite you to subscribe and follow me on Periscope. I broadcast every Monday and Tuesday evening at 6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. And you can see that's my handle at the bottom of the screen, @CPTColor. And I invite you to follow me so you can get notification of these broadcasts when they're new and fresh and relevant. We also you're able to reach me on YouTube under Dennis Gebhardt. And if you log on to our website at www.guruvillages.com, under my blog post, I'm posting some of these videos now as well. So, as I was saying, this video is 45 minutes. I invite you, take a cup of coffee, glass of water, whatever your refreshment would be, sit back and see if you find this information beneficial. We believe you will. And if you do find it beneficial, would you do me a favor? Share it with your friends. Let them know that there's something here that can maybe possibly help them be more successful in their career. And send me a note if you found it to be beneficial. You can send me an email at guruhairtribe@gmail.com. And I welcome, or you can message me on Facebook, whichever you choose to do. I welcome all kinds of responses. Our goal as a company, Guru Villages, is to empower salon professionals. We do that by providing you with honest, truthful, scientific information that helps you make the decisions that are best for you. And we also have tools, webinars that you can purchase online, pre-recorded. We have live webinars. If you look in our calendar section on our website now, you'll see that we have lots of programs coming up as well. So you can actually physically come to an educational event that we're doing across the country, whether it be here in California, in Cleveland, Ohio, or in Atlanta, Georgia. So with that being said, sit back, enjoy the broadcast, and I hope to see you soon. Until then, from my heart to yours, Captain Color, out. Monday night at 6:01. Ready? All right, good evening, everybody. It's Monday night. It is 6 o'clock in the West Coast. It's 9 o'clock in the East Coast, and for the rest of the country, it's somewhere in between. Good evening to all of you who are logging on this evening. I cannot see your text, so I'll just say thank you to everybody as you log on. Say hello to my friends across the pond in England and Ireland that are watching this on replay, and to my dear friends down in Australia who are watching this. Let's see, I think they could still watch this live, but in any case, hello to everyone. If you would like to share, I would appreciate it. If you have an iOS device, if you please swipe it left to right. If you have an Android device, please swipe bottom to top. And if you find the information I share with you this evening meaningful, please let those beautiful hearts roll. We are approaching 1 million hearts, and so we're very excited. Hopefully we will cross over that before the end of the year. For those of you that are here for the first time, let me introduce myself to you while people are logging on. My name is Dennis Gebhardt. My company is called Guru Villages. We are an empowerment company for salon professionals. Our goal is to help salon professionals become more successful by providing them with accurate, scientific, honest, truthful information regarding products, product information, strategies, techniques, and behaviors that will help them become more successful. Because we truly believe that you are the magic in everything that you do. And if you are well-informed, well-educated, and grounded in this information, you can make the right choices that help you discover your own personal genius. So tonight, we're going to do this a little bit differently. Normally on Monday nights, I log on and I have a message and I have notes to take. I have notes that I want to share with you. And I think tonight we're going to do it just a little bit differently because we finished our last Color in Science lecture today. It was very exciting. I had people from all over the country, online, as well as people live in our classroom. I even had one student who was there from Italy. So we were very excited today, and our new webinar platform worked out beautiful. It was great. So that has been my day. So tonight I really don't have a lot of message to share with you. So what I thought would be interesting is to, for once, maybe you can ask some questions and I'll try and answer them. Now, because we want to keep this broadcast not too lengthy, I'll try and answer at least 3 questions tonight. And then any of the others, I'll try to pick those up tomorrow night, if at all possible. Tomorrow's election night, so I know that a lot of you are going to be preoccupied watching the craziness that's happening in our country right now. And I may hold those off till next Monday night. But during the week, I'm sure I'll pop on with some in-salon activities that we're doing. What I'd like to begin with, while you're trying to think about questions you'd like to have answered, and if there are questions that I can answer tonight, I will, is kind of give you my perception of what I've noticed. This whole year I've been doing a Color and Science program, which is basically talking about how hair color works, understanding the science of hair color, understanding how hair responds, understanding the structure of hair, understanding all alkalins and acids, and all of those kind of things that are important for us as salon professionals to become more successful and to do our job at its very best. And then, of course, at the latter part of that program, we talk about color principles. And I have to tell you, I am consistently amazed, and I shouldn't be after this many years, how many of us really, we don't really, in some cases, we don't really know what we don't know. We don't understand how colors work, how hair color works. And I think a lot of that has to do, as I've said before, of a void in education, in solid grounding of education. Meaning that we have 2 and 3 generations of hairdressers today that aren't really sure how that hair is structured. And so as I go through this program, I always have people who have epiphanies. They have big aha moments about, oh my God, the cuticle is not impervious to liquid. The cuticle is semi-permeable, meaning there's small microscopic holes in it. There's a lot of people that don't know that. And the reason that's important to know is because there's certain ingredients that actually penetrate straight through the cuticle. You don't have to open the cuticle. Also, one of the things I saw today was when I showed them what actual cortical fibers look like in the hair, we showed them a micro photograph from a scanning electron microscope. And I know that whenever you see people talk about the cross linkage in hair, you always see them draw out this schematic. Looks like a ladder. Bonds, they draw out another line and they say this is disulfide bonds. And so in our mind, that's kind of the picture we see inside the hair, when it's really not what the cortical fibers look like at all. They actually look like telephone cables that are laying over each other. So it's important, I think, to understand, when we talk about what products do to the hair, to understand exactly how that hair responds. Today, again, I had my little voice went off in my head, said that, we really need to change the way we teach the level system, because truly we need an accurate description, visual description of what the undertone at a level 5 looks like, or what the undertone at a level 6 should look like. Because for many of us, we're not sure what that undertone is. So a lot of times it's guesswork for us. For my friend, my fellow guru, Dale Smith, if you're watching this broadcast tonight, I think we really need to go to work and try to create that. If you think you would like to have, if someone could produce a swatch ring or a swatch card showing you precisely what the undertone at a level 5 looked like, or the undertone at a level 6, all the way levels 1 through 10, do you think that would be a valuable tool for you to use? If you do, please send some hearts or give me thumbs up so that I can know that you think that makes sense to even pursue that. Sylvia, what are they doing?
Yes, yes, yes.
Good, great. So that's a little project that we're going to try and focus on and try and make that tool available, because I think it's very, very important, especially when we're doing color services in the salon.
Wait, confirming oxidative color is active the first 20 minutes like bleach is.
Say that one more time.
Confirming that oxidative color is active for 20 minutes the same as bleach. I think I got that right.
Okay, let's talk about let's talk about the processing time of a hair color. Manufacturers list processing time, but that does not mean that at the end of that processing time it stops. So is a hair color active and in oxidation up to 20 to 30 minutes? Absolutely. And sometimes beyond that, based upon the level of color that you're using. Here's the thing to always remember. The more alkalinity that's in a color, that means the lighter the shade, the more alkalinity there is, the longer it will hold the hair in an alkaline state. The longer that hair is suspended in an alkaline state, the more oxygen peroxide will be releasing. So truly, you can have oxidation going on beyond a 30-minute processing time. Here's a great example. And here's the advantage to that when you're using normal color. When you're using normal color, having that extra oxidation means that when I check the color at the end of the recommended processing time, if I do not have the tone that I'm looking for, I can, and if it's an unnatural tone or something I don't want, I can add a color right over the top of that product that's on the head, and I can change that color using the oxidation that's remaining in that application that's on the head. So that's great, especially in color correction. So if I wipe down a red strand and the color's not red enough, rather than washing it off, I can add a more intensified red base, or I can add something to enhance it right over the top of it for an additional 10 to 15 minutes, and it will bring that color back. It will brighten it right up. The same thing if I wipe down a blonde strand and the color's still on the hair and it's sort of ashen in tone, I can add something warm right over the top of that, and I can bring that color back around. So oxidation is active. There's no specified time for lift and deposit, if that was what your question's premise was. Many of us are taught lift and deposit, but lift and deposit do not happen separate from each other. They happen simultaneously, meaning that there's lift and deposit going on from the very beginning to the very end of the processing time. So it's important to know that. That is why if you do not let the color process the entire processing time, you will lose some deposit. And that's fine if you don't mind that, but if you want longevity out of your color, that's why you need to leave it on for a longer processing time. I hope I answered that question right, Sylvia. Okay.
Okay, so there was another question. Jennifer asked that if you put color in the bowl and leave it for 2 to 3 hours and then mix it with developer, will it still lift the same or work the same?
In my opinion, this is in my opinion, don't get offended if I hurt your feelings. Okay, if I offend you, I apologize in advance. In my opinion, that is not thinking wisely. There is no way you can let an oxidative color set in a bowl and then mix it with a developer and create the same amount of lift and deposit that you would if you used a fresh mixture. Now, here's what manufacturers will tell you, or some hair colors will tell you. Because it's a cream, the outer layer oxidizes and it seals the inside so that it preserves it, so that when you go and you break it up later on and add a developer to it, that you reactivate it. Look, there is no way to scientifically prove that. So if you can't, here's what I believe. If you cannot factually substantiate it with science, don't teach it. But sometimes we do. It's better to mix as you go. Let me give you an example. If I'm doing a foil highlighting on a client and she has a lot of hair, I am not going to use the same formula for the entire process. I'm going to start with my first section in the back of the head, and I then will mix a fresh batch when I go to the sides of the head, and I'll mix another fresh batch when I go to the top of the head. Now, why would I do that? Here's why. If I start at the back of the head with that same formula, by the time I get to the top of the head, the lifting ability of that product, the lightening ability, has diminished. So there's no way that that top is going to look like the back of the head. So that's a principle that we know science validates. So mixing fresh, not letting your product set in a bowl, and especially if you're using, like, if you do it like with a demi color, say you're going to do a retouch and a refresh. So you're going to retouch the scalp with a normal color, and you're going to refresh the mid, lengths, and ends with a demi. Don't make up your demi and let it set by your station while you apply to the scalp, and then do the demi through the mid, lengths, and ends, because you're using a very low volume developer, probably 5 volume or less, and you're not going to get the oxidation. You're not going to get the longevity. You might get some staining that you visually could call success, but it's not going to be long lasting.
Okay, Michael Van Horn asked, how about adding...
Is it Michael and Jennifer asking me the questions?
How about adding a cap of 130 volume?
Oh, you guys get me in trouble. Look, you know what? We are an interesting breed of people, us hairdressers. And we love to be little wizards. And belief systems are very strong. And so my challenge has always been, is I try to get people to understand the truth, but sometimes it contradicts a belief system.
Michael says that was a joke.
Oh, okay, good, good. We'll move forward.
Ah!
Okay. So anyway, my observations today were, one, understanding the hair structure is still very, very important for us. Understanding what's in a tube of hair color is also very important. In this class, in Color and Science, I talk about paraphenylene dyes, paratoluene dyes, aminophenol dyes. And I help people understand that today, and in chemistry, if I change one component of an ingredient, I can actually rename it. And paraphenylene dye has, at least 4 or 5 different aliases that it goes by. So when a manufacturer says we're PPD free, and then you look at the ingredient deck and you find enolenes and hexaphenols and things like that, those are all PPD dye side chains. So you have to be very cautious about that. Manufacturers do that because we socially, we believe that these are the things that are concern of us, like when people have PPD allergies. First of all, you have to know that there is really truly no scientific evidence that links PPD dyes with cancer. None, industry-wide. But the reason people have PPD allergic reactions is because of overexposure. Think about the clients when you see the hairdresser set them up out of the shampoo bowl and they still have residual dye on their neckline. And instead of doing a proper post-oxidation treatment, that hairdresser just simply wipes it off. You see that done all the time. They've got stuff on their ears. They look like they've been in a car accident after a color service because the applications are so poor. Overexposure to PPD dyes could cause you to have allergic reaction. But done properly, it's not really going to be an issue. But because it's been it's been in the news and people are having such issues with it, manufacturers decide rather than fight it, they're going to change the formulation so that they can say to you it's PPD free. We know this about PPD dyes. They give you excellent coverage of gray hair. They give you beautiful bright reds. They give you rich, beautiful brunettes. Paratoluene dyes, which a lot of manufacturers are using today, PTD dyes, they have less potential of being allergic to them, but that doesn't mean you won't have a reaction. It just means they have a less opportunity of having a reaction. And paratoluene dyes have a tendency to, number one, they don't cover gray very well, usually. The reds are not very bright, and the natural shades are pretty flat. There's a lot missing from a PTD exclusive color line as opposed to using paraphenylene dye. But manufacturers choose to use those to to satisfy the needs of the hairdresser or the demands of the hairdresser. I mean, here's another thing. You know, you hear all this thing about gluten tolerant, gluten allergies and gluten reaction. And now you have people making gluten-free hair color and gluten-free hair care products. Well, I don't know whether you know who the Mayo Clinic is or not, but they're probably one of the most reputable resources for medical research that there is in this country or worldwide. They issued a paper last year which said that it is impossible for someone to have a gluten reaction from a topically applied product. In order for you to have a reaction from gluten, you have to ingest it in your body. Now look, that's not Dennis telling you that. That's the Mayo Clinic. Don't shoot me. I'm just the messenger. But I just want you to be aware of that, is that how we get hung up on these things that we think are so much better, and we always have to look for the bad guy. We always blame it on the bad guy in the ingredient deck rather than saying, look, you know, maybe it's something else. Okay, questions though?
Oh, Michael was asking, what is gluten? Maybe some people don't know exactly what gluten is.
Gluten, wheat. Wheat would be gluten, any kind of a wheat product, anything of that sort, flour, those kind of things. You know, people have a gluten tolerant or a gluten intolerance to foods that have that in it.
They have celiac disease.
It's celiac disease, yes. And so, you know, topically though, according to the Mayo Clinic, they're really not going to have, you know, it's not possible to have that kind of a reaction. So that just gives you an idea about how many things are misunderstood in our industry. Today we talked about ammonia and MEA. That's always a big controversial thing. And I've said before, ammonia and MEA are like chemical cousins. In fact, the only difference between ammonia and MEA is ammonia is one nitrogen molecule that holds 3 hydrogen molecules in suspension. MEA is one nitrogen molecule that holds 2 hydrogen molecules and 1 alcohol molecule in suspension. That's how closely related they are. The difference between the two is that ammonia is a volatile. That means it dissipates away. So in hair color that has ammonia in it, ammonia is dissipated away within the first 15 or 20 minutes of the color process. The only reason people think it's still there is because of its pungent fragrance. Ammonia will penetrate the skin and it will penetrate the hair. So many times colors that have a high staining ability, they stain the skin, usually have a pretty high concentration of ammonia in them. Now, MEA. MEA is not a volatile. MEA is very steady. MEA is not a gas. MEA is a liquid. MEA is part of the fixed alkali in all hair colors. The difference between MEA and ammonia, as far as pH goes, is minimal. Ammonia has a pH of 11.6. MEA has a pH of 11.5. The problem with MEA is that, one, you can't smell it. So when you're doing a post-oxidation treatment, if you do not go through and acidify the hair and do all of the things that are necessary, that product can continue to work in the hair. And the client can literally have her color fading as she walks out the door. And if she has finer textures of hair, in about 3 to 4 months of using an MEA product on her over and over and over again, that hair can become very dry and very brittle. Now, MEA does not penetrate the skin, does not penetrate the hair. Okay, so you know it can be very drying if you use it in high ratios. At 11.5 is a high alkaline pH. That's pretty high. So it doesn't mean that it's milder than ammonia. It means it's just a different type of alkalizing agent. That's all that means. So getting people to understand that MEA and ammonia are both in hair color. and it's part of the fixed alkali process. Now, every hair color has to have some sort of fixed alkali base in order to maintain the pH during the color process. If they didn't do that, hair color would be over in 10 minutes.
Okay, someone was asking about advice about not color staining the skin.
About not staining the skin.
Right.
Okay. Well, one, application is very important there to keep it from staining the skin. Also, if the client has dry skin, you want to use some sort of a moisturizer to soften that skin so that it doesn't absorb, that epidermal layer of the skin doesn't absorb the dyes. You also have to think about the color that you're using. Most colors that will stain the skin tremendously, other than direct dyes, I'm talking about oxidation colors alone, most of those kind of colors are what I call a dirty formula, meaning that you can watch them when they oxidize in the bowl. When they oxidize in the bowl, it looks very muddy, it looks very dark, it doesn't look nice, okay? It looks like the bottom of a riverbed. That's the only visual I can give you, okay? Colors that have a clean formulation, they oxidize clean. And so you're not going to end up having the same staining issues with that kind of product as you would with the others. So application is very important, especially around the hairline. A couple of things you can do around the hairline. When you apply your color, isolate that first 1/8 of an inch around the hairline. Don't apply product to that. Apply it right behind it. Then when you get finished and you're ready to take that last section around the hairline, take a dry brush. Not one that you've been using, but take a dry brush and simply take that hair and push it back into the hair color behind it. If it's a fine section, like an 1/8 of an inch, that color will push through and it will absorb it, and that way you'll avoid creating those artificial hairlines around your client's, around the client's head. Very important. Also, when you go to shampoo them, lean them back in the shampoo bowl. If you do not have a stain removal product to apply on that hairline, you can actually take some of the color that's left in your color bowl and apply that right around the hairline. Interesting thing is that the color will sometimes remove that color from the skin by just massaging it in, and then apply shampoo over the top of it, then apply your water. Do not apply your water first, because that will lock the stain into the skin. Apply your water after you've applied shampoo and lathered it up, and then apply water over the top of it. Okay? All right, so what else today did we talk about? We talked about the law of color. And it's amazing to me, the color wheel, which all of us seem to take for granted that we know. We go, yeah, I know the color wheel. But when it comes to formulation, sometimes we don't really know that color wheel as well as we thought we did. One of my favorite exercises to do for people in my color classes is to say, I say to them, you know the color wheel pretty well, right? And they go, yes. And I said, so do you think that things you know pretty well you understand? Yes. And I said, okay, great. I said, so how many of you know what a penny looks like? And they all raised their hand. And I said, well, are you up for an exercise? And they go, sure. I said, well, here's what I want you to do. I want you to take a plain piece of paper and I want you to draw the front side of a penny. Now, since we were children, we know what pennies look like. But no one's ever asked me to draw the front side of a penny. And then the second part of that exercise, I have them draw the back side of the penny. And then I say to them, I said, what did you learn? Well, I know what a penny looks like, but I don't really know what it looks like because I've never really looked at it. And you know what? The color wheel is that same way. I find more and more that most salon professionals, many salon professionals, not most, I can't say most, I haven't met most of them. Many salon professionals formulate one of three ways. They formulate one by recipe. They have their favorite color that they use on everybody. Think about it, I bet you all do. Okay? You have your favorite brown, your favorite blonde, your favorite red shade. The experts say all of us use about 6 shades of color in any given brand. Our 6 favorites, if you will. And it's really kind of true. If you have a conversation with yourself when you say, you know what, you're right. You know, I love what this color does, so I use it in every formula. So we formulate by recipe. Number 2, we formulate by hair color quarterback. That means somebody in your salon or someone you know, you either, you know, you walk over to them, you go, look, walk by my chair, tell me what you think. Or, because of social media today, you take a picture of it and you send them the picture and you go, what do you think I should formulate here? So now you have hair color quarterbacks all over the country that are being sent pictures. I see it on Facebook. I see people that actually have the clients in their chair and they send a picture, post it on Facebook and go, I want to do this. Someone give me a formula. I just think that's insane. But we do that. Okay, so we formulate by recipe, we formulate because we have a quarterback, or number 3, we formulate by putting everything we could think could possibly go wrong, we put that in the bowl. A little medium brown, a little medium ash brown, a little golden brown, 1 ribbon inch, 1 dollop, 1 squirt, 1 dab, 1 inch. How many of you know people who formulate like that? They formulate like they cook. Or they have to put a squirt of something in every formula. Now, in a formula of product made up of 2 ounces, a squirt of something is really not going to do that much. Now, you might think it does, you know, so I can't affect your belief system. But truly, scientifically, a squirt of something is not going to change a formula that much at all. But what it's going to do is make us feel good. So the reason I share that with you is because we don't really know how to formulate for many of us. No one really told us how to formulate. No one taught us how to formulate hair color. They taught us formulas. They taught us, here's the formula for beige blonde. Here's the formula for highlighting. You know what? When I was started foiling hair, we used Claro. And our formula was 1 part moon gold, 1 part topaz, and 1 part flaxen blonde. Any of you who've been in the industry for a long time can remember that trio of colors. And we used that to foil everybody's hair. I didn't care what color your head was. My formula was topaz, moon gold, and flaxen blonde, because that was my recipe. And so today in our industry, we get hung up on recipes. That's why people have their formula cards and they stay with that same formula. They never change the formula until an issue comes up. Do you know that there are some places where the front window shows the parking area and the salon professional has a chair right by the window? They see their client pull up, they mix up the color, and it's sitting there waiting for the client when they walk in the salon. There is no consultation. It's sit down, let me paint the same formula I've been painting on you for the last 3 years, and not spend time doing a consultation or even examining the hair. And that's how we run into these bad scenarios where the client comes in and she goes, I don't know what you did last time, but my scalp was really, really bright. And now we have guilt, right? Because we did something wrong. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I don't know what I did wrong. Well, now when you examine the scalp, you go, oh my God, she's increased her gray by 15 to 20% in just the last 30 days. You know, gray doesn't come in gradually. One day you wake up and you have a gray spot. So can you imagine if I'm using the same formula on this client and over a period of 30 days, her gray percentage of gray in her hair has increased 15 to 20%. Do you think the same color I was using on her before is going to work the same? No, probably not. And that gray hair may respond and give you a brighter result. And so then the client thinks that you changed their formula or you did something wrong, when all you needed to do was give them an examination when they came in. Take a look at that hair. Look to see if the hair is faded. You know, some people, they apply color at the scalp and pull it through. They still do that today, which amazes me. Or they apply color and they apply a demi-perimeter on the mid-lengths and the ends. without examining what is needed. See, for me, hair color, all hair color will fade. And acceptable fading is fading from a half a level to a level in 30 days. Unacceptable fading is fading from a half a level to a level in 2 weeks. So knowing that hair color will fade, when that client comes in, I want to just replace what's missing on the mid-links and the ends. I do not want to match what's happening on the scalp. So I have to take and make an examination of that hair. Did she lose a half a level of color? What's missing? If it's a brunette, she can't be that much lighter as far as the brown goes. I have a client, Deborah Schultz. Deborah's 85% gray. We retouch her at the scalp with number 4, level 4. And on the ends, we refresh her ends with a level 10 golden demi-permanent color. Now, why would I refresh the mid-lengths and ends with a gold or a yellow and the scalp area is a level 4? Because the only thing she lost in 30 days is the reflect. And so all I have to replace is the reflect. I don't have to replace the brown. And that prevents the color from browning out on us. So all of these skill sets that I'm sharing with you tonight are part of what helps us finesse our color and helps our colors be consistently successful. And changing clients' formulas on a regular basis. That doesn't mean if she's a redhead, make her a blonde, or if she's a blonde, make her a brunette. It means change the formulation. And that's our job as salon colorists, is to walk with that client and do the things that are necessary for her. Not to wait for her to tell you you want to change, but for you to finesse that color and keep it looking its very, very best all along.
Someone was asking when you were talking about gray coming in really fast. I think that was kind of confusing for them. They didn't understand what you meant, that it came in really fast. Okay,
great question. Gray hair doesn't gradually get gray. In other words, like this month you're not like 1% gray, then you go to 2%, or then you go to 3%. It could be this month you start to see the first gray hairs that you first get in your head. How many of you that have gray hair remember those first gray hairs? Okay? Then 2 months later, 8 weeks later, you look and you go, oh my God, I'm now 35% gray. Because that's the way that it happens. It does not happen sequentially. So the reason I say that is so that you understand it. That's why it's important for us to examine the hair every time the client comes in to see what changes the hair has gone through. And you know, gray hair doesn't come in evenly. Some people get gray around the front of their hairline. That's great. Some people get gray in the crown area first. Some people get gray on the back right quadrant. I don't know why that is. It's just the way God made them. And so we have to check those things out when we're formulating our color. So that's what I meant, that one day you wake up and you've got more gray than you thought you had. You have to change the formula. Because if you don't change the formula, you're not taking that gray hair into account, and it could give you an unexpected result. So today was a very interesting day for me to share with salon professionals. I'm very excited about the opportunity to start the program again all over in January. But I wanted to kind of share some of those perspectives of the things that I saw. I think that, you know, we have a lot more people that are interested today in what's happening, and I would like to think that what we've done at Guru Villages, along with what Jennifer Hernan and I have done on Periscope and Instagram, have really created an interest for everyone, and an interest in learning more about your craft and learning more about how to be successful working with hair color. And our hope has been that we have given you clarity on some things, and to help you become more successful. So I'm very excited about the opportunity to start this program over again in January. If you've never attended a Color and Science program, I really encourage you to do it. It's a little bit of a brain burner. That's what they said today. They said, We need time to digest this. Some people need to come back and do it at least 2 or 3 times because I pull no punches, and we talk, we get down to the nitty gritty. But the most important thing is when you walk out of there, you understand more about this, about what you're doing in hair color than you may have ever known before. Sylvia.
One was asking about your webinars. Do you have one about gray coverage?
Great question. We are in the process of, we don't have one on specifically on gray coverage at this point, but we will be having those. They'll be available. My goal is to have some new, fresh webinars up there before the end of November is out. So you can access our website and see what we have available there. We have decided that we are going to do more live webinars. We'll make those available to you as well. I think because today was such a success and it was so great having the interactivity, more than just, you know, sitting and watching a 45-minute webinar is great, and I think it's great for you to have that availability to watch it over and over and over again. But I think that it's even better when you have an opportunity to spend 3 hours with me, or 3 hours with Dale, or 3 hours with Abigail, or 3 hours with any of our team members, you know, to spend time with them so you can have interactivity, you can ask the questions, you can see what they're doing. And so we truly believe the live webinars are going to be very, very beneficial. We're also planning on doing some sessions with the gurus where you can do Q&A. So we can have people logged on and we can have a Q&A session where we are asking questions and we're giving you the answers back to them. We also will have, we have a couple more classes left this year. Next week we're doing a special program for a school up in Napa, so we're very excited about that. And the week after that is our session 2 for PET, for the performance engagement training. I'm very excited about bringing that group of individuals back. Because they've already experienced growth from what we've seen, and we've talked to them. They've already experienced growth in their presentation. So if you're an educator and you want to raise your bar on how to facilitate educational information, I encourage you to take a look at what we have to offer in our PET project. And then we also have the last program of the year. Well, we've got 2 more PET projects, and then we have a December 6th and 7th, December 6th, we have a balayage class with Martine Rodriguez and Color One. And then on Monday the 7th, we have a 1-day Master the Disaster. It is a 1-day color correction program. So those are all coming up. We will be posting all of our programs across the country, hopefully in the next week. So you'll have those available to check into as well. So kind of gives you a rundown of what we're doing. We're very excited about all the things that have happened, and we're very excited about everyone that's been involved with us. And we're also, you know, the Gathering 2017 will be next September. We have already had 1/3 of the spaces have already been reserved, and you have till March 31st or March 1st to, if you pay for your tuition by March 1st, then you get a custom-made, your engraved special rose gold beautiful shears, and those are a $650 value, so it's virtually almost your whole tuition for a 3-day program. September 10th, 11th, and 12th, in case you're wondering. So we've got that coming up. We've got a big year ahead of us. All right, so look, it is, oh my God, I went 42 minutes tonight. I hope some of you stayed with me. I thank you if you did. If there are questions that I missed, I'll go through and check them. I may try and get them into you tomorrow night, but more than likely, because tomorrow night is election night, I'll probably put them off till Monday. And you'll see me coming on during the week in the salon doing some things. But anyway, I want to thank you so much tonight for tuning in. I hopefully have answered some questions for you, and you've got some information you can take back and use. If you think that this information would be helpful to people that you know that aren't watching the broadcast, please share it. Let them know that we're here every Monday and Tuesday night at 6 p.m. Monday night is our regular Conversations in Color. Tuesday night is called The Day After, where we do follow-up and we pick up any other questions and any other information that we want to share with you. So Those are the 2 nights a week that we broadcast, and then we have pop-up periscopes during the week. So thank you for sharing, and thank you for being here, and I truly appreciate it. Listen, you guys have a great Monday night, and from my heart to yours, Captain Color out.